Get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to one of my rare forays into a double feature. Today I'm looking at a pair of viewer submitted replays, both of tier 6 tank destroyers. They've got some things in common. The first one is it's the ARL v39, aka the rugby ball as some people refer to it as. This is from Samurai Weasel, who I think is... he was definitely Circ 2 when he sent it. I'm pretty sure he's still Circ 2 now. I should probably have checked that before the battle. He's running this thing with a 105mm gun and basically nothing but premium ammunition. Now, most of the time I don't really approve of this, but in the ARL v39 you really need every advantage you can get. And with the 105mm gun, it's one of the few guns in the game where the premium ammunition actually gives you extra damage, so it's not just about the extra penetration, it's about the extra damage as well. He's on the Banana Street on Himmelsdorf, and he's basically backed up by a single light tank, and this is not really a good position. Yes, he's top tier, but the ARL's got that funny little hat that sticks up, the turret. I don't know if it's a gun turret, it's a machine gun, or I don't even know, but anyway, it sticks up. It's entirely possible to easily kill an ARL with that. Anyway, there we go. He finishes off that Chernu. The M4 is a derp M4, so unless he gets lucky in pens, he might only do, say, 100 odd damage. The ARL is so soft, though, that even you really don't want to lose any damage, if possible, and you can see that aim time, the horrible gun arc, the relative inaccuracy of the guns that you get, the aim time on all the guns. I mean, the long 90 is alright in terms of accuracy, but the aim time is horrible, so you might as well take the extra alpha, especially with the better. In fact, I think the 105's got the best aim time of all of them. Anyway, he's decided, screw it, I'm just going to push up, I'm just going to keep moving. Now, he's got an SU-100 as backup. One of the very, very few good things this tank has going for it, this tank destroyer rather, is apart from the guns which are okay, but let down by a lot of the soft stats. And that's kind of lucky that hit, but it did. It's the fact that it's actually a relatively mobile machine. It's not that fast though, and it's kind of hard to hide it, especially on a map like Himmelsdorf. So Samurai spotted that basically there's no one here, and although we're 5-3, it's not like this is a total walkover on numbers. Look at the distribution of the team. There's a group of them on the hill, which is where Samurai's heading, and then all of the rest of the enemies are pinned in the northwest corner, so they're all basically stuck. He's not going to have any nasty surprises. He knows it's really fairly safe to move up. If he's really good, he might even have done a little count of the enemies. Yeah, wasn't paying attention there. Hellcat, yeah, that was a bit of a waste of an APCR round. You don't really need it for an ARL. But he was expecting, I don't know what, to come round that corner. Something slightly more armour, maybe. Anyway, he's going to keep going up the hill. And they say this thing's got relatively good speed, but I mean, the SU-100 is easily its equal, and it gets far less horrible other stats, so yeah, I think, in fact, you see that the SU-100 is actually beating him up the hill, so maybe I shouldn't have even mentioned the mobility at all. It's not that great. It's okay, is the best you can say about it. It's not horrible, unlike some of the other things like gun traverse. Anyway, there's an SU-85. Where's a derp SU-85? That's not something you see very often. And there we go, he actually takes 100 ramming damage from an SU-85. Easily able to polish off his remaining hit points though. Unfortunately, Kenny is dead. I don't know what the French for Kenny would be, but anyway. And then that's it. That's it. Basically, we've won. This was actually a really quick match. And even though the enemy team was fairly easy to beat, he still lost half his health, even though he barely met any of the enemy team. So it's just a really, really difficult tank to play this. And I kind of... my sympathy goes to anyone that is grinding through this tank, because it's not the most fun tank in the world. So let's quickly cast our eye over the scores. Samurai was top of the team list there by a comfortable just over 200 XP. He had nearly 1700 damage, which was the best in the team. Doesn't sound that great, but it was by far the best in the team. Next best was the Hummel with 1200, which is no mean feat for an artillery on Himmelsdorf. And then a KV-1S with 1000, then it kind of drops off after that. The enemy team weren't particularly fantastic either, but the damage counts were sort of comparable. It's just the way they split themselves up, and not having anyone of... I mean, they had, what, the BDR and 2 mediums, and once they were down, they didn't move to defend their rear, really, apart from that one Hellcat. So it was a pretty decent score, 904 base XP in this thing. You know, any win in an ARL v39 is a good win, is my philosophy. Was my philosophy when I played through it. I don't think I could be persuaded to buy this one again, somehow. Mind you, I said that about the Churchill gun carrier, didn't I? Anyway, without further ado, I think we'll move on to the next replay. And here we are. This is from 13 Itch Slap. Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to say it. This is funnier, damn it. At least it is in my head. Again, top tier. Again, a tier 6 tank destroyer that has a bit of a reputation. But I've included this one in this video because I think, in contrast to the ARL, I think this is actually a direct contrast to the ARL, because the ARL has decent guns for a tank destroyer. It's just let down by everything else, whereas the Jagdpanzer IV is actually a nice machine, but the guns are severely lackluster. So they're kind of polar opposites, and I don't know quite why the tracks are doing that, but anyway, that's slightly weird. So this is a rather different map. This is a map that's a bit more suited for tank destroyers, but again, top tier. Now, Itch Slap, yeah, I'm gonna keep saying it. Just because, damn it, because reasons. He's using the short 88, and you can see there someone was just preemptively firing just in case there was, but no, he's only just arrived. Now this gun it's decent on a medium tank. On a heavy tank it kind of sucks, as in the case of the VK, but the VK has now a much better gun. But for a tank destroyer, yeah, this thing, you can have the short 88, which has got decent alpha, but really lackluster penetration. Or you can have the 75cm, which has got, well, it's got slightly better penetration. It gets an extra 18 average pen, but the alpha really sucks. And for the extra pen, it's not great, frankly. You also get the derp gun on the Jagdpanzer IV, which I sometimes use myself and have fun with, but it's a completely unreliable gun. It's either great or it's terrible, and nothing in between. There we go, a nice T49. Now he's being a little incautious here. I think I would have pulled back, and that was a lucky shot, because that was just before he was going to have to turn his tank. He just fired, took the guy. I'm kind of surprised he wasn't spotted, to be honest, but somebody maybe did spot him, or they just guessed he was there, because that was another shot that came in that direction. But let's have a look at the north of the map and see what's going on right now. Nearly the entire team is crammed into G9 and H9, with a few exceptions. The TOG is only just getting there, but hey, it's a TOG. So Itch Slap knows that he's going to have company very soon, but it looks like it's only going to be a couple of mediums. There's also a Chernu that has stayed there, which is an odd position, to be honest, but maybe he just thought, I'm going to have to play defensively, so I'm just going to sit here. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he stays there. There we go, we've got company. Now, the A43 bounces, and that is actually a thing that this tank can do sometimes if you're top tier. And if you're top tier, then the short 88's lack of penetration isn't that big of an issue. It's when you're bottom tier and it just does not scale up well at all. So it took that's the plural of took, right? He took a bit of damage, but he's already dished out 820, and just against, well, 2 targets really. So the extra alpha with the short 88 is really nice. And bear in mind, this is supposed to represent the tank that the Tiger used in real life. So yeah, Wargaming have kind of, I don't know, it's all a matter of balance. But the VKP, who is using the 75cm clearly, is, yeah, I don't know, all of the gold I don't know, but there we go. H-Slap finally took some damage, but he's still hanging on. The Chernu still alive also. The rest of the map, I mean, the guys that all clustered in that one place unsurprisingly died. I mean, let's not be shocked that that happened. I don't know why it's being a bit weird with the... anyway. So H-Slap is now alone because the Chernu is dead. There's an SU-100 potentially coming around behind him, so he needs to deal with the guys in front of him because there's 3 of them. Ideally, they will pop out and try and play peekaboo, but yeah, ideally doesn't always work out. However, that Crusader just... I don't know. But there we go. The A43, tired of bouncing, did switch to gold and bounced, even so. That Jagdpanzer IV has... wow, he was actually trying a derp AP shell, apparently. And there's the Crusader, and because he's got the light tank bonus, he was basically hidden up until he fired, but he's just going to... No attempt to get around a tank destroyer at all. When you're that's just suicidal, frankly, playing peekaboo like this. So H-Slap knows. Okay, I'll be sensible. I'll be. He's probably sitting there grinding his teeth, going, "It's bitch slap, damn it!" It's spelt with leet. I don't hold with leet. It's against my religion. Things are a lot more even now. 11-12. That SU-100 is apparently down there. I feel the bitch slap could have gone against this Crusader a little sooner, but to be fair, he didn't quite know what the SU-100 was going to do. There's also a Panzer Soufflé around somewhere, a flak bus, but that is whereabouts unknown. He's also been, and I should have noted this earlier, he's actually been in a more or less artillery safe position this whole time, but artillery is now going to be concentrating on other things, hopefully, so he really could have moved up sooner here. I can understand a bit of caution, but he was a bit too cautious. And at this point, to be honest, I think he's just wasting time. I mean, he tracks the Crusader twice, that's a one-shot kill, finally drives forward, and then gets a low roll. Yeah, a bit of time wasted there. Let's hope that isn't going to be crucial. 12-12 now. The TOG-2 and the KV-1 have got an enemy in front of them and an enemy behind them, but crucially they are together. And of course we all know how many hit points the TOG has got, so yeah, they've got a decent chance. I don't know what bitch slap's doing here exactly, but maybe he is still thinking about that SU-100, that it's going to come to the cap and try and ninja cap. That's my theory, but I think personally I would have been a little more... I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's taking a little trundle round here, and I guess to be fair, he is a one-shot kill for the SU-100. But honestly, this just feels like wasting time. And against the Crusader as well, that was definitely some wasted time. He could have... I don't know, actually. He could have tried to nail the Crusader and get back up to that high perch, try and spot, although you wouldn't necessarily see the SU-100 from there, but you might have a better chance. But we'll just speed up a little here, because it's literally just the SU-100. And hey, turns out I'm spouting guff, because there he is! Bitch Slap called it correctly. The SU-100 is going to where Bitch Slap last was, but not very cautiously. Even if Bitch Slap wasn't lying in wait for him in these bushes, he was knocking trees and stuff over. So, first one went in the tracks, second one in the side. The guy has used his repair kit, or even didn't have a repair kit. He looks like he's even got the 85mm gun, so Bitch Slap can easily survive a hit from that. Finishes him off for the top gun, 2500 damage, and actually that was pretty nice going. So I think it's fair to say that was a much more exciting match than the ARL. The ARL was, it was basically the person playing it, reading the situation and trying to use the strengths of the tank, even if it meant spamming lots of gold ammo, which is one of the few strengths of the tank, is that you have a premium round that can actually do more damage, so you might as well use that. I wouldn't say use it as much as Samurai Weasel was using it, but still. And then we had the Jagdpanzer IV doing really quite well against, I would say overwhelming odds, but it was against superior numbers for most of that. And he did have help from the Chernu, but the mediums he was playing against were fortunately not very good. There were 3 of them and 1 of him, and he's in a tank destroyer. All they had to do was rush, but they didn't. So even when you're in machines that have a reputation like the ARL, like the Jagdpanzer IV, if you play smart and if your enemies give you the opportunities, hell yes, you should take them, because you're not going to have terribly good games otherwise. In fact, I think I'm correct in saying I never got better than 2nd or 1st class mastery in the ARL, but I was never particularly going after it. I just wanted to get through that thing and dump it as fast as possible, because it's not good at all. Anyway, Bitchlap had a pretty decent game. In addition to Top Gun, he also had High Caliber and an Ace Tanker Medal. He did by far the most damage on his team. The surviving 2, well, the KV-1 didn't do much, but most of the team didn't do much. The TOG-2 did alright though. He did 1400 damage, there was an E2 that did 1200, quite a drop off after that, and then you've got 5 people at the bottom of the team that did no damage at all. So when you take all that into consideration, Bitchlap had a pretty good game. Not to say that Samurai Weasel didn't, but his game was more the enemy team leaving a gaping hole and just as a group acting particularly in an untactically sound way. Whereas in Bitchlap's case, it was more an individual group of enemies that he was facing that just derped out really hard and failed to capitalise on what was quite an easy to win situation. Multiple medium tanks versus a lone tank destroyer who doesn't have, you know, a good cover to hide behind or anything, or doesn't have support or whatever. But they just flubbed it and they just gave him a top gun, so that was pretty nice. So, I've tried to link these 2 replays a bit. Hopefully it's worked. If you enjoyed this video, you can hit the like button, you can subscribe to my channel, you can check out my other videos, my Facebook page, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.